Make sure you turn your volume over.
And we are live, everybody. Welcome back to Prop Stars, our Thursday edition. A little bit of a preview, but of course, there's a lot going on right now. We do have some incredible playoff baseball races we're about to get into, talk a little college football, and then we'll jump right into the NFL. TJ, our resident and local Yankees expert in analysis. Sir, Game 3, Yankees-Red Sox. You got you and your pops. It's a story. It's a dream. This is like every Yankees fan and Red Sox dream. This is it culminating. What do you think? How do you think you're going to do?
I mean, I'm speaking to all my sports fans out there because as you can see the way I look today, like I felt like I was out there on the mound for 9 innings. I mean, me and my dad like shook each other's hand and gave each other a hug after the game. And it was like we went through the war with your team, right? But that's what sports is all about. I like to try to sit back, and the whole game wasn't always enjoyable, but I got to be with my family. And let me tell you how the day starts for me too, right? Taking the kids to school, that kind of fun stuff. But at 3:30, all I'm thinking about is I have 2.5 hours to take the wind out of my kids' sails. So they're sleeping on the couch and I can enjoy the Yankee game. So I'm taking them to the park. We're at the pool. I'm throwing them footballs. I'm having them run laps around the pool, swimming laps in the pool. And by 6:15, they are on the couch, eating dinner, both knocked out. Now to sports. It was just a great it's a great time for all sports fans, right? But I feel like the Yankees, at least we got it to game 3, but we punched them back, right? We didn't want to go into this game. Rodon, there's not one Yankee fan on the planet that has confidence when Rodon's on the mound, right? We know he's not going to blow it up, but we know he's not going to pitch a gem. And he went out there and did what he does. You know, he goes 5 to 6 innings and gives up 2 or 3 runs, and he gave us a shot to win. I'm not putting down Rodon. We just prefer him being our 3rd or 4th guy. He's our 2nd guy, right?
Yep.
But also, there's a storyline going on, which is really getting obnoxious, that Judge isn't crunch time. Judge is batting .500 in the playoffs. Not only is he batting .500, some of those at-bats were against probably the runner-up in the Cy Young award-winning race, right, with Crochet, and against Chapman. He hit the ball against Chapman as hard as he could hit it. Unfortunately, it was only a single, right? But going back to that Tuesday game, Yankees made history. It was the first time in MLB history that a team in the bottom or a team in the 9th inning loaded the bases with no outs and didn't score a run, right? Like
That's unbelievable. I was in anguish, and whenever that happened, I thought you guys were about to sneak out with the game. We've all seen Chapman in this moment. The reason why he's a journeyman is because these are the moments that he's let go in the past. And the fact that he came up in the biggest, brightest, most meaningful stage was rather impressive. But, I mean, it's not like he was great. He shut the bed. He loaded the bases.
Yep. And like Tyson, Kevin, Star Spangled, thanks for listening. Yeah. And Chapman is always kind of one of those guys, too. Like, we know this as Yankee fans. Tyson knows this as Cubs fans, as a Cubs fan. He's not scared to get himself in a jam. But when you throw 102 and you're throwing like this, and you're 6 foot 100, it's just like I didn't feel super comfortable even when we had the bases loaded, no outs, because I know we're just one strikeout away, one
pop fly, ground, whatever it is,
one double play. It wasn't a great feeling. And let's go back to that Tuesday game also, because Aaron Boone made a huge I'm going to say a managing blunder, because it was like before the game. I mean, he didn't play Jazz or Ben Rice, right? You don't play Jazz Chisholm, who's a 30-30 guy. You don't play Ben Rice, who's, what's up, Eric? Thanks for listening. You're buying me lunch, baby. We'll plan it next week. But you don't play Ben Rice and Jazz Chisholm. Now, we know why he didn't just do it because he wanted to lose. He did it because those guys struggle against lefties. And Garrett Crochet is not just a lefty, right? He's one of the most dominant pitchers in MLB. He is on pace to have an amazing career. He's young. I mean, he went almost 120 pitches. He's a bulldog. And Boone didn't play those lefties for a reason. But in a 3-game series, you got to put your aces in places, and you got to just have let Ben Rice and Jazz Chisholm surprise us a little bit instead of just watching Rosario go 0 for everything. And, that lineup looks so much different when you have Ben Rice and Jazz Chisholm in there. And look what happens. They put Ben Rice in first inning on Wednesday.
Bomb.
Different lineup, obviously, but hits a bomb. Not only does he hit a bomb, he had a huge out, too, where late in the game, line drive out, middle of the game. He hit that ball so hard and just went right to the outfielder. But you got it in a 3-game series. You almost got to say F the matchups and put your aces in places. And if you lose, at least you know it. But I will give props to Boone in one thing. He handled the Jazz Chisholm thing, the Jazz Chisholm controversy very well. He said, because Jazz Chisholm wasn't looking at the cameras after the post-game interview, he's pissed off. And he was just like, Boone said, hey, players are allowed to get mad. I want them to get mad. They're allowed to disagree with my coaching decisions. But I'm coaching this team the way I think it should be done. I'm the coach. But he kind of just diffused the Jazz Chisholm thing really quick. And I appreciated him doing that because you could tell when the Yankees took the field yesterday, there wasn't any negative vibe with that. It was,
All right, so why is Gene saying Boone is one of the worst postseason managers I've ever seen?
Because just what we just said, Ben Rice and Jazz Chisholm. You're putting Ben Rice started 130 games and he hit 26 home runs. Jazz Chisholm played 125, I think. He was a 30-30 guy. Just start doing the math here. Jazz could be a 40-40 guy, and Ben Rice will be a 30 home run guy, barring injury, for the next 10 years, right? So he's saying that just because, and Gene's always questioned Boone's pitching moves. I didn't really have a problem with it. I like Max Fried doesn't go deep in games, and our bullpen, which has struggled, it's okay. And with Bednar, I don't think going to Luke Weaver was a huge mistake. Max Fried was dialed in, but Max Fried doesn't go deep in game. He doesn't throw much over 100 pitches, and he's not a power pitcher either. So if you look at the stats, when you have a crafty kind of finesse pitcher that goes over 100 pitches, sometimes the wheels fall off, and he just wanted to do that. He could have let him go 2 more at-bats, I'm okay with that. But pulling Max Fried out with 1 run, he got 1 out in the 6th, and he pulled them, I was okay with that, or 6 or 7, yeah. But Max Fried pitched a hell of a game. Yeah, he went 6 full innings and then got the guy out in the.
All right, and you had the other comment. We had somebody ask, who are your World Series picks now that you got done with that take?
Yeah, you're going
Yankees,
we're going,
obviously.
Yankees, Dodgers, right?
Yankees, Dodgers.
Yeah.
Dodgers are already through, right? They're the team that's already made it through.
They're the one team that made it through.
They took care of the Reds, and the Reds showed some life. But my God,
you know what?
Yamamoto was just out there. He stayed out there, I saw, for like 7 innings.
Oh,
and every time the Reds were coming back, it was just like the Dodgers just kept putting up more runs, kept getting hits. Mookie was unbelievable. I think he was like 6 for 9, a few doubles. Every time he looked up, he was knocking somebody in. Dodgers look like they're in prime ready. They're definitely the team to beat, I think, right now out of the NL.
Yeah, and Mookie Betts just made an unbelievable defensive play with the bases loaded, no outs. Like, it was crazy. Playing shortstop, I'm sure Tyson could understand this too. Like, just playing the infield, there was a short hop that Mookie Betts played with the bases loaded. And I would say 80% of shortstops boot the ball. Like, it was it got crushed, and he stayed down on it, picked it clean, threw the guy out at first. If that's an error, Reds could go for 4 or 5, 6 runs that inning.
Sure.
And instead, they get him out. Yamamoto looked good. I don't even know if he gave up an earned run, to be honest with you. I know the Reds went up early, but I have a feeling those are unearned runs. Let's just not even, as a Yankee fan, let's not worry about the Dodgers right now. But this is what we're worried about, right? Guess what? All of a sudden, Snell is back to his form.
Yes,
Yamamoto is their number 2.
Right.
Glass now is their number 3. Right?
That's ridiculous.
That is like unbelievable.
Tyson says this is the reason why the MLB needs a salary cap. I couldn't agree even more. Whenever you have a team just plucking international superstars and buying anybody they want, taking every great pitcher from any team, it's just carte blanche. The league is their pool, and they get anybody they want. It's kind of crazy, man. You should.
Thank you for listening, baby. Thanks for noticing. I trimmed the beard this morning, trying to look fresh. Had a couple days off of work, but you know what? It is bullshit to what the Dodgers are doing. I'm not even trying. It's not even a hit and brag. When I spoke to Cashman,
Mookie is tied for the most 4-hit games in playoff history.
Mookie's amazing. The guy's
it's ridiculous.
And when I asked Cashman, I'm like, "What about the Dodgers?" He just put his hands up in the air, and he said, "This is ridiculous."
It's ridiculous.
And I don't think the Yankees should get on board and do what the Dodgers are doing. I know that there's a lot of people in New York that say the Yankees should do what the Dodgers are doing.
We always thought that's what you guys did. I mean, that's how you went and got Wells back in the day and all these moves. You went and would flex your money.
Well, yeah, but the Dodgers are doing it different. The Dodgers are cheating, right? The Dodgers are paying Ohtani.
They're cheating. I love you.
I mean, the Dodgers are paying Ohtani like $2 million a year, right? Like, that if you do the math on paper, his contract should be like Soto's, weighed up front, and it's not weighed. Ohtani's got so many endorsement deals. He's going to see his money in 15 years, and deferring the money is just fucking bullshit, you ask me. But, I mean, hey, you know what? As a Yankee fan, I kind of embrace it because the Dodgers now are definitely the evil empire. And, I'm sure Tyson could say this too. Now it's like the Cubs, even him as a Cubs fan, I'm a Yankee fan. I feel myself rooting for the Cubs now because I feel like that's a team that can take out the Dodgers, right? Because they can they can go run for run with them.
Sure.
They're not going to have the starting pitching the Dodgers do, but hey, if the Dodgers starting pitcher falters, right?
And you like Wrigley. You kind of like the way they're set up in Wrigley too. They're going to have a few games there if they can make it, right?
Yeah. We're going to give a shout out to Dustino too. He's joining our channel. He's going to be posting some great plays. I'm not going to call them lead pipe blocks. We all have our own lingo. I'm going to be talking about some of the bets I love today. But yeah, I mean, that's enough about baseball, but the Cubs, I'm really hoping the Cubs close it out today. Let's just see really quick. It was cool to see the Guardians fight back. I mean, that Guardians-Tigers series, it's like watching paint dry, but there's passion there. The stands are filled. And when you see
it's Flaherty versus Ciccone in that final matchup. That's going to be, that's their young guy for the Guardians, their old guy for the Tigers, widely veteran. Flaherty is so hit or miss. I'm leaning towards the Indians on this one. I just like what they're doing, and the fact that they're still in it, I think speaks volumes. They were so hot at the end of the year.
Yeah, Tyson's Cubs are cooked. You know what's crazy though? When you're me and my dad were watching.
The Cubs are not cooked. You got Italian. He's been amazing.
Yeah, Darvish. You always know he's got that 7-inning no run game in him. 7-inning no run game in him. But is Darvish still the Darvish that we knew and have loved over the last 10 years? Watching me and my dad were sitting on the couch and you're watching the Tigers Guardians game, and every guy that comes up to bat for both teams is like batting 220 with 6 home runs. Yeah. And you're just like, man, there's not, besides Jose Ramirez.
Right, I was going to say, Ramirez, I know, is the only guy that we're not talking about.
You can maybe throw Quan in there because we know how good Quan is.
And he has 300.
Yeah, Rocky or whatever his name is hit a bomb, and it was cool to see because that guy has a pretty cool story.
Rocio.
It is just one of those things where those teams are so inept on the offensive end. And I'm not even being a dick here, but Seattle literally has a bye to the ALCS, right? Yankees and Blue Jays will be a battle. We're going to dispose of the Red Sox tonight. And so it's going to be the winner of the Yankees, Blue Jays versus Seattle in the ALCS, right? In the NL, Padres or Cubs could take out the Dodgers, but Dodgers all of a sudden look unbeatable,
Yeah.
But that's
so breaking down the other games. So we just talked about the Cubs and the Padres, Darvish versus Italian. Against your team, you have Early versus Schittler. I know your cousin was saying he was Schittling his pants, just knowing that this is the guy, all the marbles are on the line. Connor Early, we talked about earlier, young dude, lefty, throws fireballs, but he's never been in this moment. Welcome to the rivalry. You know what I mean? This is what it's all about. This is baseball history. This is lore. It's the next chapter. I feel there's a lot of young guys on that Red Sox team that are going to be involved in this rivalry for a long time. They have such youth. I definitely think you guys should have them. Right? Early lefty.
Tyson, I think you're right about that. Like, back to the Cubs, they always falter against elite pitching, but is you Darvish elite?
You Darvish had a 5 ERA this year. You're fine. Yeah, you're gonna let him.
I don't know, but we all know Darvish has that game in him. Is he gonna do it or not? I feel like the Cubs or Padres, whoever wins that game has a realistic shot of making it to the World Series because both of those offenses are so explosive if they can be, right? Yeah, I wasn't happy to see the Red Sox go with early. I didn't know much about him, but just to think that he's a young, hard-throwing lefty.
And you don't have a lot of film on him,
I do like how Cora totally mismanaged the game yesterday and ripped through his bullpen. So now today he's literally early has to go a little deeper. But obviously we're going to struggle against lefties. I don't think Boone's going to make that mistake again. And he's young. Let's work the count. Let's get his pitch count up. And let's get to that Red Sox bullpen, which is one of the worst in MLB.
Yeah,
right?
bro. You lit up Whitlock. That was crazy, bro.
Yeah. I also love, thank you, Seven Springs. We appreciate it. I like how, Judge hasn't hit a home run yet, but I love how Judge is just batting 500, right? That gives him the confidence. And we just need Stanton. We need Stanton to get going, right?
Yep.
Because Stanton just does not look comfortable up there. And we appreciate that. Let's talk about the Hurricanes Florida State game really quick. I'll go right into the NFL. But this is the rivalry we've been waiting for, right? This is the rivalry where most people grew up watching college football, and now it's officially back.
This is the rivalry. I remember all the missed field goals. You remember all the field goals that were missed between Miami and FSU back?
Well, it was always FSU going wide right? And
right.
That's what they were known for. And
So
they were known for just supplying the NFL with great player after great player after great player. And these guys, the reason why the rivalry is so heated is all these guys on the field are both getting recruited by both teams. And these guys all played high school football versus each other, right? And the big storyline in this game is Reuben Bain Jr. for the Hurricanes, who is going to be a top 5 pick this year. I mean, the guy literally looks like Bane from Batman. It's so funny.
That's legit. From the shadows.
Him and Castellanos, the quarterback of Florida State, just talking shit back and forth. Florida State ruined it a little bit by losing to Virginia. But honestly, you want to say ACC football is garbage, I would agree with you for the most part, but not this year. I mean, the SEC doesn't look great. FSU ran over Alabama. University of Miami just beat the Gators. It was a tough game, but it was in the rain. We beat the Gators. I mean, the SEC this year is very, they're usually the dominant conference, and they're still really good. But I don't think the SEC is head and toes better than the ACC this year, right?
You're talking about the top is measuring with the top. We're not talking about like the overall body, right?
Yeah, I mean, SEC. Yeah, the SEC is obviously always going to be deeper, but I mean, look who the SEC got over the last couple of years. But the top of the ACC is just as good as the top of the SEC this year.
All right, so Miami's given 4.5, right?
Yeah, I love Miami. Obviously, I mean, I'm a Hurricane fan. I'm biased, but it's going to be a war. There's no doubt about that. Castellanos is very hard to stop. They ruined it a little bit by losing to Virginia. It would have been real nice if FSU could have just handled business. I don't think FSU is all the way back yet, right? And that's why they lost to Virginia. But this is a game where if Florida State wins, both of these teams are probably going to be playing in the ACC championship game together. So, but other than that, let's start talking about the NFL.
All right, man. Breaking it down. Thursday Night Football starts tonight. It's kind of a crazy matchup. Divisional rivalry, Niners-Rams. There's no Brock Purdy. There's no George Kittle. There's no Jawan Jennings. There's no Ricky Purcell.
I know.
I don't understand. The Rams, they're given 8.5, right? I love it. I think the Rams are all over them tonight. I think the defense eats. And, I mean, knock on wood, because I have them in one league, Christian McCaffrey's the only healthy player, right? I mean, he's going to get a hefty workload. You just want him to stay healthy. But, my God, how are the Niners even supposed to compete? I mean, you got Mac Jones, and you're going to have crafty routes. You know what I mean?
I picked up Kendrick Bourne. I might not start him, but I picked him up just because obviously I'm real thin at receiver right now. I traded Brian Thomas Jr., Tyreek Hill's hurt, and I have Jawan Jennings, right? So, I picked up Bourne because I'm like, no Kittle, no Pearsall, no Jennings. And I know Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne have history together, right?
Yes, they do, from New England, right?
So I might spot start him, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not suggesting that.
It reeks of desperation.
It
Like
does, but guess
whatever.
what? This
But
is
it's a
why
smart play. You're not wrong. But like,
you're.
what's Kendrick Bourne's line gonna look like on the road at the Rams? Like 5 for 50,
I could
maybe a
see.
tutty.
I mean, yeah, I'm hoping like 6 for 80 and a touchdown. I
Okay,
know that's
okay,
reaching. I know that's reaching, but hey, there's some things in our favor, right? You have a
sure.
team that's going to be down. It's an indoor game,
Yes.
and they have nobody else on the roster. I was looking at some of the top receivers last game. If you take out Pearsall and Jawan Jennings, obviously C-Mac is number one no matter what. But then it's like their backup tight end.
Imagine the gift of playing TJ fantasy week to week.
I
What a
mean,
dick.
I'm 2-2, and guess what? My running backs are Jahmyr Gibbs, Judkins, Scatterbill, and I got Bo Nix. Have you seen what the Colts are doing with Tyler Warren? He's
Yeah.
like Taysom Hill now.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
They're like running him. They're doing like not draws, like handoffs to him. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's like the Taysom Hill. He's taking snaps. Niori, thank you for listening. We'll hit those questions up in a minute. But Tyler Warren's taking snaps. He took 2 snaps last game, and the coach came out and said he's going to take 3 to 5 snaps a game from quarterback.
Like, do you think this is more of a product of Daniel Jones, or is this more of a product of them just being creative and trying to find wrinkles within who they are, which is nobody knows. They're unidentified, right?
Oh, I think Warren is going to be the number one tight end in all of fantasy football now. Just because.
Hold on, let's pause real quick. I'm looking to sell Mika or Garrett Wilson. Just worried about Mike Evans and Godwin coming back. I don't think you got anything to worry about. I think Amika's earned his role there. No matter what, he's looking at like a solid 10 targets a game, period.
Yeah, I mean, that might change a little bit, but yeah, Amika is one of those guys that Baker Mayfield is always looking for.
He's a league winner, bro. You don't want to trade a league winner, man.
Sometimes you don't overthink it. If Amika is blowing up right now, but it's Amika for Garrett Wilson. I mean, I think that's overthinking it a little bit. The Jets are in disarray. Yeah, Garrett Wilson looks amazing. What did he do last game?
I ended up beating Jeremy Kroll by a last-second touchdown, and he had some opportunities here and there, but it was just more about Justin Fields running one way, reversing field, running for 40. They finally got Garrett Wilson the ball in garbage time. I ended up beating Jeremy Kroll just by the chance of it, because that's what I do to Jeremy Kroll every year in the Boathouse League. It's just absolutely, I guess, predictable. They're going to feed Garrett. He's going to get targets, and they're going to continue to work him the ball. He was pissed off at Aaron Glenn. You saw the conversation on the sideline. He's like, give me the ball, give me the ball. They finally get it to him. It's just
I mean, the question is, I have Garrett Wilson ranked higher than Amika throughout the season, though, right?
I mean, sure, I guess. And you're worried about Evans and Godwin. I just think, I don't know, man. I really like Amika. I just think he's going to continue to be the guy who's developing throughout. And that Jets offense, it's like you said, it's very unpredictable. I mean, I know he's your guy. It's Garrett Wilson. It's Breece Hall. There's no Braylon Allen, obviously, this week. I know in the short term, it definitely looks good. I think Amika continues to develop. But, yeah, I mean, over in the long term, when you say it out loud, Garrett Wilson seems to have more upside, which is an intangible thing, than Amika. And it just depends on what offense do you like better and, opinion of who can continue to produce throughout the year.
Yeah. And also, Tyson, I slept in on Sunday, or I put up 160 points. I worked late, so I slept in. So to say that, and that trophy that you have right behind you right now, you see my name on that trophy twice. So think about that.
You're already poking the bear, Tyson. You're poking the bear, man. But yeah, so I guess if you're going to talk about that, and you already, that's your preference, man. That's an opinion thing. I think Amika's the league winner, and I think Garrett Wilson, I have him in a league, and he's been great so far. You're just worried about Justin Fields staying healthy, right? Kind of thing. And, he runs the ball a lot, and he takes shots. He's already missed a game. I'm not saying that's not going to happen again throughout the year, and God forbid, it's playoffs, and you need Garrett Wilson, and you trade him, you get rid of Emeka, and you're stuck without him. I don't know. Obviously, these are a lot of what ifs. This is my own opinion. I prefer Egbuka long term, but right now, I mean, if I remember your team from last week, number one, I don't know how you don't love your team. Your team seemed pretty stacked if we remember Niori's team. And I think he's just fine. I think you're like
don't overthink it.
Splitting hairs. Yeah, I think you're splitting hairs here, Mr. Niori.
Yeah. Stick with your guns.
All right, bro. Next game, right?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about the London game. The Vikings stay over in Europe after shitting the bed last week against the Steelers. Now they get the Browns. Are the Browns just one of those teams that you just don't want to be going up against in fantasy?
Yeah.
Right? Don't you get this feeling like you know that the Ravens don't look great and they dropped a ton of points on them, but that was in Baltimore. And this is a game where the Browns are going into the well. They're starting Dylan Gabriel.
Yep.
Which means they're even closer to starting Shador Sanders, right? Which is it could be getting there.
Oh, you would think, even though he's still third on the depth chart, which they're getting highly criticized about.
Yeah, and you saw like his body language last week when Dylan Gabriel went in the game. He wasn't thrilled, and I'm okay with that. And I think people are just trying to look for the candid reaction. I didn't think he looked pissed or anything. He just looked like, all right, well, I think he understands. He's just one spot closer, right? And isn't that ironic? I think you said earlier in the week he didn't want to play for the Ravens behind Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And then here he is with an opportunity. He could have been starting or at least having an opportunity to play. Cooper Rush is playing.
Yeah.
But now he's buried in the depth chart. Dylan Gabriel's getting the shot. We just talked about Judkins. I think it's going to be a heavy Judkins game. I think the Vikings are going to run the shit out of the ball. I think Jordan Mason gets a lot of work. And after last win's, not showing that he has a propensity to lead a team with his arm, I think it's going to be even more of a running game. That kid Xavier, the backup running back, converted wide receiver, he was what's his name? Xavier Smith, right? Or Xavier Scott. I think he's going to be more involved. This game is an ugly game. I think it's kind of a survivor pick. I don't know if I really like the Vikings in a lot of other places. Teasing survivor. I know we're going to get to it. Your cousin John Trompe's pool. I kind of am flirting with the Vikings a little bit, not in love with the matchup, but the Browns aren't at home. We know it's Dylan Gabriel. And then you have the Vikings who have a notable defense. And you have, was the defensive coach from, is it Flores? Is it Flores, right? Yeah, it's Flores for them. So he's going to dial up some schemes. What do you think about this game? I think it's kind of interesting being an ugly game,
Yeah, it's the lowest over-under we've seen so far this year at 35.5. Very rarely do you see over-unders under 40 in the NFL.
Right, because you're talking 17 to 18, right?
Yeah, so this is the lowest over-under so far this year. It will not go lower than this year. So people are thinking a defensive battle. If you're a Judkins owner, I think that's good that Dylan Gabriel is on the field now. Dylan Gabriel, you got to at least respect Dylan Gabriel's feet a little bit, right? Which could open up a hole or two for Judkins. I think it's going to be a war. I think that, the Vikings, we know if they have to, they can air it out, right? They did it against Pittsburgh.
Sure.
I don't completely trust Carson Wentz. I think the Vikings need to move now and go get a quarterback really quick, right? But I think that it's going to be a defensive battle, and it'll probably be a 1 or 2 possession game. I'll be tuning in just to watch Dylan Gabriel, right?
You'll be up at 9:30 this, I guarantee this time you will make it.
Yeah, I'll be up just in case there's a late scratch for sure. But I think it's not going to be a fun game to watch. Obviously, it's going to be pretty low scoring. But I think if you're a Mason owner, you're not loving this game just because the Browns are hard to run the ball against, and it's going to be a 20-14 game, 17-14, one of those kind of games. But it will be fun to see Dylan Gabriel at least go out there and give it a shot. I mean, they have some weapons, right? You have Judkins in the backfield. You have Judy. You have Joku, who's been real bad this year. I mean, Joku's been, wow.
Awful for being drafted as like a 5th, 6th round pick.
Yeah.
You looking him up? Well, I was going to say, it's kind of interesting too. Like they spotlight the game because it's going to be the only game on. So it's a primetime situation. The whole world's going to be watching Dylan Gabriel against the Vikings. And I always love it because the game ends at 12:50, something like that. It's always right before 1:00. Get you really hype. Hopefully you got your beverages made and snacks ready and kickoffs coming. You're out of church, whatever you're doing. because football is always it's just such a great little caveat to the morning anytime you get European football. And it's like last week, this week, we get a break and then we're back in. We get a couple more weeks of it. I love it whenever they do this. International games always get me hyped up. I'll wake up Sunday mornings extra excited. I don't care who it is, and fantasy makes every game relevant. I will be watching Judkins with glued eyes, just hoping he breaks one out and runs all over the Vikings. Be incredible.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Cleveland plus money, 165. Billy Gabriel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Minnesota is a good team, and they're good on both sides of the ball.
Minnesota. That's why I like Minnesota in this one, dude.
Yeah, I think Minnesota could be definitely could be a good survivor pick. And
so we'll go ahead and put that to the side for survivor in a little bit. All right, so you got the Ravens and Texans. Nobody thought this was going to be 2 1-3 matchups. Yeah. Lamar Jackson. They're not telling us about this injury. They're not giving us a timetable. He's probably not playing this week again. So you're going to have Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush means you don't get a lot of Derrick Henry because they don't get a lot of big leads. And then you're like not the happiest with Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, right? You're like, okay, it's going to be a progression kind of thing. I don't really love this. I know the Texans are more of a defensive team as well. This line is at 40.5. Baltimore's plus money. Houston's given points. Kind of an ugly game. I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, this is a game I'm trying to stay away from. Obviously, I don't know why I feel like Lamar Jackson might not be out. Like Hard Rock has no lines on there's not one quarterback on the Hard Rock app. And that makes me think that they're a little fishy too about
is Lamar playing or not, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't have like an out next to his name. He's doubtful, but like even ESPN Fantasy has his next start being this Sunday. You know, Hard Rock has no lines on Cooper Rush.
Do not let him Jalen Warren you, bro. I feel like this is setting you up for an okie doke. It's a classic. It's Thursday. Tomorrow, they probably have to definitely list him as out, right? Because he doesn't practice. It's Friday.
Yeah, I don't know how it works anymore. Obviously, it doesn't seem like the rules are that serious because Jalen Warren was ready to go.
He was limited out, right?
Yeah. And yeah, Seven Springs. I'm hearing no Lamar this week also, but everyone is skeptical. Everyone is skeptical. There's no O next to his name. A lot of the casinos don't have any action on Lamar or Cooper Rush.
All I know is if, God forbid, if Lamar plays, you want to jump all over this line then. You know what I mean? Like you want to the Ravens getting points at home against the Texans. If Lamar plays, it's a different game. But I don't think Lamar's playing. I think it's exactly the line dictates everything that we're seeing.
What about Woody Marks? I mean, Woody Marks, you tried to dangle that carrot in front of me. And
I love Woody Marks. And then in the big league, I'm very happy that I'm going to sit tight with him, that nobody really jumped on it. The more and more I read and the more I'm looking into Miko Ryans, what he's saying, they're going to continue to give him the workload. Nick Chubb, obviously just not showing any kind of the pop. I did just trade in the Boathouse League. I did business with Mark, and we traded Derrick Henry. I traded Derrick Henry and Woody Marks. Okay. And I got James Cook, and I got his backup, Ray Davis.
Yeah.
Right?
So 2 for 1, right?
2 for 1. Yep. And he needs to make a move. He needs to win this week. He's 0-4. I'm 4-0. I got a little more wiggle room. We also did like another deal after that too. And I got JMO, gave up Travis Hunter and somebody else. But it's just one of those things. It's the time of season. I would definitely be trading. I would definitely be interested in trying to make moves. Remember, we're not trying to see where the ball is going at this very moment. It's important, but you're also trying to see where the ball is going to be fed later. So you definitely got to see where the guys are going to – your Cam Scatterbo trade, right? Like there are just things that you have to be able to pivot, make moves. You want to be ahead of the curve. You want to have the vision. And there are certain things that are going to go on in fantasy right now. People are dropping players that are going to be relevant in another 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And Marks is one of those guys nobody was big on, and now here he comes getting an opportunity. Week 5, he's going to get a bigger shot.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We're just watching right now, too. Lamar Jackson didn't practice yesterday. It looks like he's not going to practice today. Breaking news. But I think that, this is the old adage from
I have a lot of King Henry Tyson. I gave up on him in that league. I have Jonathan Taylor and I like my bet better with Jonathan Taylor and James Cook, especially with the unpredictable Ravens offense that I know. I did offer you a trade for King Henry, and I know that you denied it, which is fine because I'm still not all the way sold on him. I think is very true. If they don't have the defense, that means that they're not going to be up, and that means that King Henry's not going to run 2,000 yards over the league. If they're
Yeah.
from behind, it's going to be a lot of Justice Hill, and we saw what that looked like last week. Justice Hill scampering for a 75-yard touchdown late or whatever. It was not King Henry, and King Henry's fumbling the ball. So again, I'm a little bit lower. I'm not saying he's not, and you want Henry late in the year, but even the Ravens' playoff schedule late is not the sexiest. So
Yeah, but you didn't give
just
up on him there. You mean you got value back? It was just a
right.
trade.
I mean, this is Tyson
But
saying I'm giving up on
the
him.
old adage is, well, hang tight. We've only seen 4 games. Yeah, with some guys you hang tight. But Brian Thomas Jr.'s schedule is fucking brutal, right? There are
Yeah.
guys, don't be that guy that's like, oh, I'm hanging tight because history shows you that guys will come around. A guy like Brian Thomas Jr. showed us one season, right?
Can I tell you something? Let's go ahead and talk about this. And I sent this link out to a few people. I got another league I'm in, and I did business with this kid named Devin. He's been trying to get Jamar Chase off me all year. He sends me another trade. He texts me again. Hey, can I get Jamar Chase? I was like, absolutely. I'm fucking done with him, right? Like, send me a trade. I don't care.
Yeah.
And the reason why I watched Field Yates break out a ton of stats. The last 11 games with Jake Browning, he's finished above wide receiver 20 one time. I'm out. I'm out on it. And people are saying invest into the Bengals offense later. Okay, if I'm going to invest in the Bengals offense, I'd rather have a Chase Brown or a Higgins because I feel Jamar Chase is still going to demand all the attention. And maybe there's a little bit more window there. But he gave me Jordan Mason and he gave me George Pickens, right? For Jamar Chase. I'll take that all day. Jordan Mason, Pickens. And then I was like, I want a little bit more. I was a little greedy. I was like, I'll take something else off my team. Just don't take Hampton. All I had is Amari and Hampton in that league. And he ended up wanting Ferguson, and I got Charbonnet. So I got a 3 for 2. And in that league, I'm already dealing with injuries, and the Bengals offense is shit. So you want to make moves no matter who it is, and you have to make pivots for guys that you can see having a bright horizon, bro. And I think Pickens is going to be great, and Mason's going to be great. And I could definitely see both of them outscoring Jamar Chase in fantasy, let alone one.
Yeah, it's okay to give up on people that aren't producing. Like, give me a Cam Scatterbu, who, again, is playing the Saints this week, right?
Tyson says, well, I know, Tyson, this is fantasy, and I'm not ever making my bed with any player just because they almost won me a title last year. Remember, Jamar Chase was the 3rd-place winner last year in our league. Don't forget that.
All right, so we could agree the Houston-Baltimore game we're not really going to touch when it comes to any kind of bets. The next game is Giants at Saints.
I'm really into this Jackson Dart thing, dude. And I know that you don't have neighbors, but if I'm, again, survivor view, right? If I'm looking at a team that has the chance to win on the road, that is definitely on the wrong side of the line, I definitely like the Giants. They score more points than the Saints, and they give up less points than the Saints, right? On average.
Yeah.
I like both of those. I like both of those leans. Jackson Dart showing you Moxie is healthy. He's going to play. It's just about not having neighbors. And are you going to bet on a rookie on the road? But I have a buyback, and I'm not seeing myself taking the Giants in a lot of other situations. So we've talked about fading the Saints all year long.
Yeah, I like. What's up, Specimen? Thanks for listening. Yeah, no one's taking Tyreek Hill. I love the Giants here, and the reason why I love the Giants is because it looked like last game for the first time the Giants' front four was everywhere. I mean, you had Abdul Carter, Burns, Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. I mean, it was just our D line looks so good, and Spencer Rattler we know is a joke, right? And I love the Giants here. I don't love him as I love him as a survivor pool pick. I'm not saying like I'm putting this as a lead pipe lock just because Jackson Dart, second game. And the Saints have played teams pretty tough. They had the Niners on the ropes. They had the Bills.
I was in New Orleans too.
Yeah, they had the Bills in Buffalo on the ropes. So if you have a buyback in our survivor pool, I recommend.
That's the only reason is because I would have a buyback.
Yeah.
And it's week 5,
Yeah, I don't see any lead pipe locks there, or anything like that. But I do like that. I can see the Giants actually.
So let's talk about Alvin Kamara. Is he going to get traded, or is he going to end up staying? Now, I know Tyson's listening is why I'm asking. He's vested. He wants Kamara to get traded to the Chiefs. The Chiefs, for everybody who's out there, if you're in need of a running back, there's a guy named Rashad Smith for the Chiefs who just got like 20 touches last week. He's a converted wide receiver to running back. He's got Jerick McKinnon vibes. I could see him being more the future and kind of taking the shot in the future than more trading for a Kamara and giving up picks. And, he's kind of cooked. And I'm not saying he is completely cooked, but he obviously doesn't have the burst, and he's only played one full season. And the fact that he's healthy now leads me to believe that he's probably going to get hurt later. So I don't know if the Chiefs really pulled the trigger. But do you see a landing spot for Kamara anywhere, or the Saints just going to make their bed with him?
Yeah, I mean, if I was the Saints, I would sell just because. But, in the Saints' mind, they're competitive.
I say you sell him, at least get a draft pick for him or something for anybody who wants him. I just don't know I know Tyson wants the Chiefs and the Kingdom to get him, but I was trying to think of a particularly good landing spot for him.
You have a first-year head coach. I just don't think they're going to put him in that spot, Kellen Moore, right? I just don't think that they're going to – Kamara might be a New Orleans Saint for life, and I just don't know how many teams would give up a lot for him, right? So
yeah,
it's kind of interesting to say.
And Kendry Miller's starting to take early work down. So
yeah, Kendry Miller, like you mentioned last show, is a good fantasy pickup. Kamara could be sitting out a couple games, or they just kind of phase him out a little bit. Go Giants. I think Cam Scatterbo has a monster game. They don't really have many other guys to touch the ball, right?
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where people are trying to talk. The Saints are playing tough. Giants could come out and win this game and look good. You guys have looked good against good teams. I mean, the Saints haven't looked bad against good teams. You know what I mean? I like your angle.
The Giants front four just looked so good last game. I hope we can keep it up. Next year will be the year where we get Neighbors back. We get some good draft picks. I'm excited. I think we keep this unit together for at least one more year when it comes to coach, GM, etc.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go
moving on, right? Broncos, Eagles.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games. I was looking at this for 6 hours yesterday trying to get off these 3 lead pipe locks, right? But these are the 3 that I've been teasing all week. I can't get off it. I can't believe how much I love it. It's all 3 plays, and they're all tied together. Some are on Bo Nix. Some are on the whole game, right? But every time we see the Eagles offense get criticized, we just see them come out and explode, right? And yeah, Surtain might give A.J. Brown hell, and I don't even know what's going to happen there. But Jalen Hurts is going to put this ball in the air. And we've been hearing how good the Broncos defense is. But keep in mind, 2 out of their 4 games, they played the 2 worst offenses in the NFL, right? They played the Titans, Cam Ward's first game. They're a mess. Then they played the Bengals without Joe Burrow, right?
They're a mess.
The other 2 games, the Broncos gave up yardage and points, right?
And they should have won against the Colts. They could easily be 3-1.
They should have won, but their defense got torn up.
Right, exactly.
And this is why our first lead pipe lock is Broncos, Eagles over 43.5, right? Over 43.5. We took you don't want to ride the same gravy train over and over, but that Bucks Eagles over under I felt was a mistake. And that game was over in the 3rd quarter, right? This game, I think the Broncos have a lot of weapons, man. I mean, they're getting Mims involved. Obviously, Courtland Sutton. Evan Ingram looks healthy.
RJ Harvey's coming, buddy. If anybody has RJ Harvey, hang on to him. He is a superstar.
Yeah, really Anastasia, thanks for listening. I think that it's they have amazing weapons.
I love right there.
They have Franklin, Ingram, double tight end, 2 guys in the backfield, and Bo Nix is on fire, right? Bo Nix could have thrown for 500 yards against the Bengals. but they were up so much they didn't. So the first lead pipe block is over 43.5. The second one, we're taking over 1.5 touchdowns thrown by Bo Nix, and that is at plus 145. No, I'm sorry, plus 150. Bo Nix over 1.5 touchdowns. Now, some people are scared because Bo Nix likes to run the ball sometimes.
Evan Ingram gets one. RJ Harvey gets one. That's 2 right there.
Cortland Sutton might get one. Marvin Mims might get one. Franklin might get one. Troutman might get one. Dobbins might catch one out of the backfield. I think the Eagles' run D is pretty good. I think that we saw Dak light the Eagles' offense up. We saw Baker Mayfield, who I thought he didn't look great last game. He threw for almost 300 yards. So we have Bo Nix over 1.5 touchdowns at plus 150. Keep in mind, we're not the bozos on XM radio giving out minus 190 lines. We're giving out plus money lines, right? So over 1.5 touchdowns, Bo Nix, plus 150. You're betting 100 to win 150. And the last one is over 219.5 passing yards.
Wu-Tang, you want to hang on to RJ Harvey, buddy. Just keep in there, man. Hang on to him. Dude's going to be a stud. We're starting to see it. You see Niori's comment. Have that Alvin Kamara role. We've all been waiting on it. Somebody to take, the ex-Joker role for Ingram or the Kamara role for Harvey. It's a Peyton offense. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, Wu-Tang, hold on tight. He's coming, right? And then that last one is over 219.5 throwing yards. That seems low for Bo Nix, right?
219?
Yeah, that's like those 3 lead pipe blocks. They all tie in together. We can win this at almost halftime, right? Over 219.5 throwing Bo Nix, over 1.5 touchdowns, plus money, and over 43.5. Take those lines now. Those lines will be changing and not in our favor. We'll post a YouTube short later to repost that too. But it's go time,
Like those picks, like that game, man. Honestly, I think the Broncos are going to look at the second half of that game last week and see exactly what Tampa did to lock them the fuck up. And I think, obviously, they have an elite defensive unit up front and in the back. And I think that the Eagles, they're going to have to be creative, right? I'm not saying that they can't score. They're going to have to be creative. I think you're right. I saw the Cowboys move the ball on them at will. Now, that was obviously without Carter or whatever his name is that spit on Dak, yada, yada.
Jalen Carter, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think you're going to see the over. I agree with the over 100% in this game. I think the Eagles, is this the game that Saquon maybe starts getting going against a team that you don't think so? Or is, what's going on with Saquon? I wanted to talk about this today. He's slumping. Is it the offense? Is it the scheme? Is it Hurts? What's the matter with Saquon?
Yeah, the Eagles just don't have a huge sense of urgency. I mean, they've had some, they just don't have a huge sense of urgency.
They're the Super Bowl champions. They don't need to do much. They're winning. They're 4-0. Yeah. I think everybody wants the numbers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, we've called out the Eagles a little bit, right? Just they haven't been the fantasy darlings that we all thought they were going to be. I just think they're just playing winning football. And when you're playing that much, when you're winning every game,
it's just ugly sometimes, right?
When you're playing from the lead, I just don't think – I have watched Saquon a little bit, and I thought that he is maybe – we got 21 people listening, guys. Thanks for listening. Please hit the subscribe button. Saquon's lacked a little burst. I've tried to watch it a little bit and just see if maybe I was seeing something. Maybe I was just watching his stats and thinking maybe it's just his stats. But I think that he's lacking that burst, but not because of physically. I just think there's not that huge sense of urgency, right?
Yeah, what was worrisome is he carried such a large load last year and had so many touches. This is what everyone's talking about with that regression and why people can't go touch the ball like almost 500 times and expect them to go back, touch the ball another 500 times and be replicatable. It's just not that easy, right? And you and I looked at Saquon last year. We even talked about it preseason. They're still meat in the bone if they give him the receiving chops. He's not even getting the receiving chops. And when he was in New York, what made Saquon so beautiful is that he was catching 6-7 balls.
Yeah.
Right? And he's just not doing that. They don't need him to do that. They have obviously great wide receivers and tight ends. And Jalen Hurts he's the product of looking at his reads, and you can't take him down. He scrambles out, gets your first down.
That's the problem. I've noticed this a lot with real mobile quarterbacks.
He's just not checking down to Saquon. He's just
they
scrambling.
don't check down to their running backs. And one of my favorite plays of all time was the Saquon Barkley over 13.5 receiving yards in the Super Bowl. And that was because I thought that they were going to do something different, and they did. And Saquon had like 3 catches on the first drive or something stupid like that. Like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels, those guys they rather run, which I get it. It's you're looking downfield for the big play, right? And their eyes are kind of trained to look, and then run, not look, and check down. Sure. So when you're looking at mobile quarterbacks don't check down to running backs. That's a trend that's been going on for 15, 20 years. And that's why some people weren't super high on Saquon, just because even at 1,500 yards, he just doesn't get the receiving yards, right? But he's still going to have some big games. And I think there's still potential there to bust a long one. And every time we want to talk shit about this Eagles offense, they just blow the fuck up. And that's why I think that it's going to be this over 43.5. It seems like a gift. It's just like the Broncos defense. It's a little overhyped. And the Jalen Hurts offense is getting blown up. They're garbage, And just, I could see this game being 24-21 at halftime or something stupid like that.
Yeah, both these offenses have crazy good potential. I could definitely see that happening. All right, we'll move on. We got the Raiders and the Colts. What do you think about this game? Obviously, the Colts are 3-1.
I'm excited for this one. What are your thoughts?
I think if I'm looking at this after watching the Ashton Genty show last week, and the Colts showing that they do allow some yardage. You have Las Vegas at plus money, Indy's given 6.5. I got a sneaky feeling that the Raiders make it closer of a game than what this is showing. I don't think Indy blows the doors off of them whatsoever. First instinct is it becomes a Jonathan Taylor versus an Ashton Genty show. I think they try to mitigate Daniel Jones a little bit this game. I think they've been kind of flirting with the Daniel Jones project. And I think as we're seeing, you're going to see Tyler Warren catch snaps. Tyler Warren, look at the player prop. Tyler Warren passing touchdown, right? Like there's going to be a play where he sits there, snaps the ball, fakes to the right, and then just dumps it over the line as everybody, dumps and goes forward. He's going to throw a touchdown this year. It could be this game. You're calling it out. But I definitely see them scheming, playing Q. I could see the Colts winning this game, but not by much.
I kind of beg to differ there. Geno Smith just looks like shit, and he's playing.
I think they get Bowers going this week. I mean, they're going to have to get it going to Bowers. That's why I say they're going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah, I just think that we got 25 in the bill. Let's keep those numbers up, guys. Thanks for listening. I think the Colts, just Geno Smith doesn't look right. He's throwing the ball in the coverage, and that Colts defense, they are not scared to bring pressure. They are real fast to the ball.
Rumors of Jacoby Myers trade to the Patriots. I mean, with that, he would just go there and die. Like Drake May just spreads the ball around to everybody. Hunter Henry's is number 1.
And I don't even, I mean, fantasy-wise, I don't love it. But I don't know I know Myers isn't happy, but I think that they're going to stick with him. I think that trade would have happened. It would have happened earlier in the year, but who knows, right?
But you don't think Geno's going to be able to spread it around, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if he does, it'll be more like garbage time. But I think unless Genty really gets going, I could just see the Colts at home moving the ball at will. And I really like I love them at minus 6.5. I thought about putting this as one of like our lead pipe locks, but I'll let we'll sit and wait on that one.
I just don't think the Colts are quite there yet with putting away teams. And I think that the Raiders probably make this a close. That's what I think. I just think the Raiders make it a much closer game. And I think their offense is showing the pieces. If they start to run this ball with Genty, I think you're going to have to obviously start to stop it, and then you're going to see Geno open up a little bit. That's all.
And the Raiders had that game won last week, right? And
if not for the block. Exactly, bro. I mean, they could easily be 2-2.
I mean, they have some weapons, and I think this is one of those games where the Colts just take care of business. But yeah, I mean,
I love it when we disagree. This will be one of those things that we go back and check. I'll even write it down as we follow up. We'll do.
Let's look at some of those player props really quick. Since we are called Prop Stars, we should attack that a little bit. I'm cut both over-unders for yards are 231. Don't love that too much. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor over-under on yards. I'll let you guess. What do you think it is?
Say it again.
Jonathan Taylor over-under rushing yards.
Over-under rushing yards? I'm going to say 75.
Okay. That's what I would have guessed. 93.5.
So they definitely think he's going over a century, 100%.
That's the highest rushing total I've seen this year. The Colts, a little undersized. Ashton Genty, what do you think his over-under is?
After the week he had last week and his slow start, I'll say 65.
Great guess. 63.5.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing educated guess. I love doing these games.
I think if you were to look at his player props with the receptions too, they probably got him at like 3.5 to 4, maybe with catches. Last week he caught 2.5.
2.5.
I like the over on that because last week he had 2 touchdowns, and they're going to continue to Geno Smith is not the mobile quarterback; he's a check down guy.
Let's see how many catches did Genty have last week?
He had 2 for touchdowns.
Yeah. So let's see. As we're looking,
I got the box score right here. Box score receiving Genty right here had 2 for 17 with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so he's not. Yeah, at first I always like to look what
but they're 2 touchdowns, right? But I love that they have him at 2.5. So he needs 1 more catch.
You would have lost the 2.5. That's what's so gross.
No, last week, right? But I mean, I wouldn't have bet it last week. I've been waiting on him to catch the ball more, right? Like you're kind of waiting. And then when you see the result, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, it just leads you to believe you're going to garner more targets is all.
And I always like to pick these props based on tempo, right? And how we think the game's going to go. The reason why I love the Denver play so much, the over and all that stuff, is I think they're going to put it in Bo Nix's hands, right? Sure. And I think that if the way we think this game's going to go, the Raiders are going to keep it close, but they're going to play from behind, right? So if they're playing from behind, what easier way for Geno Smith to do after a guy that just threw 3 interceptions, right? 3 bad interceptions, by the way, is what are they going to tell you to do? Hey, check down more. Look at Bowers. Look at Genty. Let's get the ball in our stars' hands, maybe not just handing it off to Genty. So, yeah, that over 2.5 seems like a fun play. And it's one of those things where I
like that play. I would definitely take that play. That's for sure. What do you think about this next game? You got the Dolphins and Panthers.
Yeah.
Both 1-3. You get the Dolphins are actually, if the money line's even, Dolphins are giving points, right? Obviously.
Hard Rock has them at -1. I mean, but it's a pretty much a pick 'em game. I would love the Dolphins here, to be honest with you. If
Tyreek Hill, they got Waddle, Malik, Waller. It's going to be A-Chain heavily, right?
I'm starting Malik Washington in this game. I think he's going to have his breakout game without Tyreek Hill. I think he's going to be that Tyreek Hill of that offense, and I'm hoping he could scrounge up 10 to 15 points for me.
So you're in our fun fantasy league, the Fantasy 12. You're going to be starting Malik Washington. And then who is the other receiver that you're taking a flyer on?
I might be starting Kendrick Bourne.
You might be starting Kendrick. You're starting Malik Washington and Kendrick Bourne.
Now,
week 5 in fantasy. I wonder what the over-under on that was. That's crazy.
Now, I will probably unleash Gibbs after this week. Like I know I could just squeeze Sean Munson and wait a week and get Drake London, get the bye week out of the way, right? But the reason why I couldn't give up Gibbs this week is I need to have some 30-point bangers.
Yeah.
And the Lions play the Bengals. So that's a free 30 from Gibbs right
100%,
there.
100%,
right?
yeah.
And Drake
Jameer
London
blows up.
Now, I am lucky, a little personal fantasy story. I'm lucky to be playing Jeff, who has Bijan Robinson on a bye, right? So it's really great. Like I got screwed this year when I played Jonathan Taylor. In every league I was in, I played against Jonathan Taylor. Now this week, I'm playing Bijan Robinson in the big league who's on a bye. So that could be my chance. And I'm still projected to whoop his ass, but
Love that.
But let's look at some player props for this Dolphins-Panthers game. There was
Talk
one
about Malik. What's he looking like?
Yeah, this is one that I was actually really liking. He's 32.5 receiving yards.
That's gotta be, yeah. That's
I really
broken.
like that.
Yeah, that's broken.
His receptions are 3.5. I mean, I could be honest with you. I think he has 2 catches behind the line of scrimmage, like hike pop. So therefore, all he has to do is
you're like 2 screens. Easily, you're penciling in for 2 screens.
Yep. I don't want to start releasing but I'm going to release 3.
Those are good though. These are good, man. These are good picks. You got to be able to find them.
3 to 5 plays. We're 9-4 in our lead pipe locks, and Jesus Christ, I mean that could be easily 11-1. So 12-1.
12-1.
Don't get me started.
All right, Bucks and Seahawks, ugly game, East to West Coast trip. Bucks playing the 12. The line is 44.5. Tampa's plus money. Seattle's given 3.5 on ESPN. This just seems like an ugly game.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. Seattle's defense.
I feel like there's a lot of variable outcomes here.
Yeah. 31 people in the building, guys. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate it. So Tampa Bay at Seattle, right? Sam Darnold has looked really good. That offense looked good. We were yelling from the rooftops 2 months before the kickoff that JSN will be that guy, right? That if he put up these stats with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Geno Smith as his quarterback, what's JSN going to do without those 2 guys and
Absolutely.
Sam Darnold as his quarterback? And we could be wrong in certain spots, but that one we were exactly right. I think he's the number 1 He's either the number 1. He's a top 5.
And you know what? Also on the same foot, Cooper Kupp is just MIA right now, dude. He had a game like 2 weeks ago. I think maybe it was all right. They leaned on him. It looks like Torrey Horton's coming after that job. Obviously, they got that one tight end who's starting to blow up, Arroyo, whatever his name is. I definitely am all about JSN and fading Cooper Kupp in every league possible. I only have ownership of Cooper Kupp in 1 league, and I didn't even draft him in that league. I've been trying to trade him all year. I was trying to trade him before the first 4 weeks after that big game too. Nobody wants him.
Yeah.
I'm just all in on this offense running through Walker and JSN, right?
Yeah, I was hoping that they would Hard Rock doesn't have a Sterling Shepard line yet, but I have a feeling, right, where we talk about this a lot.
Of course. He just missed last week, and that was awful how they just couldn't get him the ball.
They weren't really looking at him. Baker was staring down Godwin. And
he was, absolutely. And there's a lot of passes that Godwin had no business being the target, and you just see 17 running open.
So this week I could see, Shepard coming back, but whatever. It's
hard
going
to dip that well again, right?
It's going to be a battle. I'm excited for it. That's a game I'm staying away from. It's just that's going to be.
If I'm going to pick it, man, the way the Bucks lost last week, they could be 4-0, man. I kind of like the Seahawks in this space. I don't know. The Tampa, they look great. I wonder what they're going to come out and play like. Obviously, they shit the bed in the first half last week. They had this great comeback, but it's like you and I saw, Igbuka had that one lucky pass. It's just tough. Like the way it happened, like it was just a misread.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It seemed like the Bucks were fortuitous to even be in that game last week, even though they did shut down the Eagles in the second half. It was a very weird game to look at on the final line, but we watched it in person, and it did not look that way. That's for sure.
Yeah, they shut them down. It was pretty crazy to watch. Let's go to that one game that we skipped over. You and Gene, Cowboys at Jets. I'm sure you guys.
Okay. So we got the Cowboys and Jets. Gene, I'm sure we're gonna make a bet. Whatever it is. I like us. I definitely like us going in there. I think we should be able to score. It's just about our defense, obviously, and I think Justin Fields probably goes nuts. I think Garrett Wilson has a great game. There's no Braylon Allen. You can see a lot of Breece Hall. I think that we have been playing better defense than what people are maybe giving us credit for situationally whenever it matters. Maybe we can dial up a play here and there. But I will say I don't think this is a cakewalk by any means. I think the Cowboys are not a great defensive team, and the Jets are at home. This should be fireworks, man. It should be a hell of a game.
Let me tell you my rushing prop that I like on this game. Dak Prescott over 3.5 rushing yards.
Wow.
That's kind of low, and I could just see him like early on doing like a pump fake. It opens up like the Red Sea. He slides for 6. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like a bet like that, you have all game
All
for
game.
him to scramble 4 yards. I love that one. That's a great play.
Justin Fields, on the other hand, is 46.5, right? And that's pretty cool. That's pretty high for a running back. I mean, the Cowboys defense has been thrashed.
Pretty high for a running back.
Yeah, pretty high for a quarterback, yeah. And it's actually pretty decent for a running back too, right? Like Breece Hall's at 62.5.
Yeah.
So like Fields, but the Cowboys defense, I mean, they've had a couple games this year where 40 plus, right, or 30 plus points. It's been pretty bad. And
yeah, we just gave up 40, and I don't see any reason for us to not give up another 30. You know what I mean? To Justin Fields. And I think Justin Fields could definitely cover that. I mean, we've been able to rush the quarterback and get pressures, but we haven't been able to get a lot of sacks. But we're making him leave the pocket. And as soon as Justin leaves the pocket, he's taking off. So I could see that happening. With Braylon Allen, I like Breece Hall's number 2. There's a lot of things to like about this game. That's for sure. I could see the Jets kind of opening up a little bit against our defense.
Let's skip over to Titans-Cardinals game. Do we even want to talk about that?
The only thing I would have to say in that game would be I already have the Cardinals picked in Survivor, so I can't even touch it. And I would say pick against, if you have the Cardinals in Survivor, this is a great spot to take the Cardinals in Survivor if you haven't used them already. Another opportunity, like a third out of 5 weeks that you could take the Cardinals in Survivor. It's not a happening.
He always asking when he wants Derrick Henry. He wants to trade Derrick Henry and Mika Egbuka for Jamar Chase and Judkins. I'm just staying away from Jamar Chase right now. I mean, they're going to figure that out a little bit. Like, I think the Bengals.
I think Niori loves the action. This is the trend that I'm picking up. Niori loves the action. To acquire a Jamar Chase, a number 1 draft pick, is what I think you're going after. And I don't think there's any need for you to do that trade. Obviously, I do love Judkins, but
Niori, just sit tight, buddy, and just win the Super Bowl, buddy. You're really pressing here.
Your team, like, you've already posted your roster. It's kind of an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
You're looking good, Niori. All right, so we'll skip over that. That's all I had to say about that. Commanders and Chargers. This is a game where Terry McLaurin is highly questionable. Yeah. Jaden Daniels looks like he's going to make it back out. It's already said that Bill is going to be the guy, but Christian Rodriguez is spelling until he is the full takeover. Okay?
Yeah.
And you have them going against an elite defense, an elite offense.
Yeah.
You have Justin Herbert, QJ. Ladd just can't get it going, but there's no need to. They got Keenan Allen. They got Omari Hampton, who's just unleashing on the league right now under Harbaugh. The Chargers are definitely in a great spot. They are giving up only 2.5 points, so they're expecting the Commanders to make it much closer of a game. I like the Commanders. Maybe to push this, it's 48.5. I like maybe to push it to the over. I could see them definitely having to keep up, but I like the Chargers to win the game for sure.
And how about
it's an East-West. It's Washington to LA kind of thing. I'm not saying those things. It's always an interesting variable,
Quentin Johnston's ranked number 4 at that position. He wasn't even drafted in most.
Bro, it's unbelievable, dude. And like, it's crazy because how do you approach a Quentin Johnston? Whenever you trade for him, you can't even trade for him because whoever has him is valuing him more than what he should. But you can't argue the fact because his numbers are there and he has like 4 or 5 touchdowns. And then if you are giving him away, you're not going to accept. I mean, Jamar Chase for Quentin Johnston is a crazy trade. But if you were to offer me Quentin Johnston for Jamar Chase, I would probably take it.
Yeah.
And that's like almost a no-brainer, and it's crazy to think about. Undrafted versus the number 1 pick overall. But just look at the situation. Look at the numbers. I think that they absolutely love. I think Herbert loves Quentin Johnston. This is the role we've been hearing about for the last 2 years. Is this breakout? And here it is. It's actually here.
the Chargers to me are one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl, right? Not only do you have a really good defense, a great defensive mind, a great defensive coach, and but they also have, think about where we're going when we're talking about the playoffs, right? And we're talking about who could step up and who could do this. You have Herbert, Hampton in the backfield, and then you have Johnson, Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey. That could be an offense. They could put up 30 to 40 points if they have to, right? We know Harbaugh does not want to do that, but that quickly has become, with that defense, a Super Bowl roster, right?
Yeah, and Herbert is playing to his potential. He's always had the big arm. It's always been about him managing the game mentally. And I feel that under Harbaugh, of course, a known whisperer, I feel like he's taking that next step, that next level that we all saw in him a couple years ago. I do love the fact that they have a running game and a defense to support him, right? It's like the first time we've ever seen that with Herbert. So we're going to see prime Herbert in this division. The Chiefs aren't dead. Broncos look dangerous. Chargers are nuts. That's a three-headed division right there. Obviously, the Raiders have Ashton Genty, and they're lagging, but that division looks tough, and they definitely look like a class of the division.
Daniels is medically cleared. He's good to go.
Yeah, Jaden's going to be playing. Do you think Dan Quinn schemes him up? You think it's going to be like, yeah, absolutely, right?
I think that the way Jackson Dart ran on the Chargers, they're literally saying we will not let that happen again. I think that oh, did you ask if Dan Quinn schemes up? I mean, yeah, I think that the Chargers will scheme up Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
And they will not let him run wild. I actually think the Chargers defense is a sneaky fantasy start this week. I just think that the Chargers give them the blues in San Diego. You know, Daniels is going to be a little out of rhythm, and I can see the Chargers defense.
Well, he doesn't have McLaurin either, who's his number one. They haven't been able to get the running game going. Obviously, they're hurt there. They don't have like this prolific defense, so I don't know how they're going to stop them. It just really seems like I like the Chargers, like I said, for the win. I could see the Commanders having to play catch up and a little bit of garbage time, right?
Yeah. And hey, guys, thanks for listening. I think we have 30 in the building. We appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. All right, that Lions-Bengals game, after we've been talking so much shit about the Bengals, I actually—
They're 2-2.
Yeah, I think that this is the week that fantasy-wise they break out, right? I think if you're a Jamar Chase, a Jamar Chase or a T. Higgins owner, one of those guys will go off. I think Chase Brown finally kind of maybe catches a screen pass for a touchdown. I just don't think that Browning has 3 bad games in a row. And yeah, Dustino, I'm kind of with you there. I think the Bengals at home getting 10.5 right now is not a horrible play. And
everybody just thinks the Lions, the way they've been rolling. And I know that we heard our good friends from the Uninformed Fan talk about this. Dan Campbell, after a big win, he's just kind of like a freight train and unleashes, right? Yeah. This is following the MO. This is exactly on script for what they should be doing. The Lions are going to eat. It's just, can the Bengals catch up, right?
And me and Jeff used to say this all the time when it comes to betting and gambling. Life and gambling would be so easy if just what happened the week before happens this week.
Sure.
And that's not the way the NFL is, right? Like, it's literally the exact opposite. So what happened last week? The Lions are amazing, right? They whooped up on the Ravens. The Bengals look like their season's done, even though they're 2-2, and they're 2-2 in a division that now looks like it's pretty weak, right? And
Aaron Rodgers at the head of it, right?
Think about it. Pittsburgh, I mean, with Tomlin coaching that team, I mean, guy looks like a lost puppy dog. And, I love Omar Khan, and he's such a great man, and he's put that roster together right. But that team does not look right, and they are squeaking away with wins. The Ravens are horrible. I mean, the Bengals are one win away from being first place in that division, right?
It's crazy.
And I think that this is a game where things are going to turn upside down and come back to normal, and Browning's going to move the ball. And maybe you sit tight on that line, right, Dustino? I'm sure you could agree with that. Dustino says he loves them at 10. Now they're at 10.5. Let's see what Hard Rock – that's ESPN. Let's see what Hard Rock has them at.
I mean, these are those bets as you gamble and you learn, you just take the number, bro. Just look at the Bills getting
Especially when you're
16
at
and a half
home.
last week. There's a reason why they probably shaded this.
It's at +10 on Hard Rock, but it's looks like it's moving towards 10.5 because it's almost even money. But yeah, you can get 10.5, 11 points at home. Jesus. With
Yeah,
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown at the helm, after they just got embarrassed, all the money they've spent in the offseason, you think that team is just going to go and just get embarrassed again at home when they
right.
know that a win gets them to first place? And like, look what the Giants did last week. Number one power ranking team. Everything's going against the Giants. Fired Dayball. They beat the Chargers at home. I could see that kind of trend happening again.
I see a lot of people picking the Lions and Survivor this week too, right? Big Survivor upset.
Yeah. Yeah, Dustino. Cousins to the Bengals. That's been a rumor that's been circulating a lot. I think that this will be a week that we'll see, right? If Browning does nothing this week, then why not go get a Winston, a Cousins?
I was gonna say a Winston. I would rather than a Cousins.
I mean, do you even think about maybe doing something stupid and trying to go get a Badgett or something like go get somebody, right? Because you cannot let that team fall by the wayside, especially since that
Tyson's yelling Trask, 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 Trask.
especially since that division is so winnable. I mean, the Giants are sitting tight. The Winston's not as untradeable, but I'm like, guys, we all know for a price, there's no backup quarter. Okay, for a price, there's no third string quarterback that's not tradable, right? Like, I mean, if the Bengals want to do something stupid and offer us a second or third rounder, we'll give them to you guys. And God forbid, would that change that whole fantasy stack of Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, right?
Everything changes.
Literally, you put Winston on that team, and it's got to be something fun. Buffalo at New England, or New England at Buffalo is the Sunday night game, right?
Yep. That's a huge game. Divisional. Buffalo's 4-0. Patriots are 2-2. Maybe the first real team that Buffalo's gotten to play. I think this game's got fireworks, man. I think Drake May's been playing incredible. He's been like a top 10 quarterback every week. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. They're going to run the ball. Their defense isn't great. So, the Patriots are going to be able to score. And I think that this might have a little Travion Henderson breakout on it, dude.
I can be honest.
It's coming, man.
I don't have a lot of fantasy action, unfortunately, in this game, but I wish I did because this could be one of those shootouts, right?
Line's at almost 49, 48 and a half.
Yeah, Drake May could light it up. I think that Winston would be reborn like Jesus. I agree, Mike. It'd be fun if Winston can get one more shot.
Seeing Winston in the Tiger stripes would be awesome, dude. Like he needs one more great shot with a great offense.
I could see him coming in with like 3 practices and just throwing like 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 fumbles. Both he gets them back.
You imagine if Jameis was playing for Minnesota with freaking Justin Jefferson and Naylor and Addison? Like Wentz I'm like, I don't see it. And I know that we're on this side of the camera. I'm like, guys, like you have this amazing offense to unlock, and there's guys and arms that are out there. Blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if the Patriots are for real. You're right, does it? I mean, it's going to be one of those games where I think that Buffalo 7.5-point favorites. That's in division game, prime time. I don't see the Bills really stopping Drake May, right? So I think this is going to be, this could be a 50-point day for Josh Allen. Oof, that's going to be a fun game to watch. James Cook, Shakir, maybe some Palmer action.
Hunter Henry, Travion Henderson.
Yeah. Last Monday night. This is the Monday Night Football game. Kind of an interesting game, right?
I think I'm going to this game, actually.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I think I'm going to this game, man. Gonna go up to Jacksonville, see my pops. He lives like 15 minutes away from the stadium. Going to take one of our number 1 listeners, Mr. Eric Langen, out there. We're gonna go check it out. I think the the Chiefs and the Jaguars actually have a little bit of history if you've been watching them last few years. They met in the playoffs a couple of times. Mahomes always gets the better of them, right? This is a totally different Jaguars team. You have these commercials with Trevor and Travis, not Trevor and Brian Thomas Jr. You know what I mean? So I don't, they're doing these little handshakes and they're riding around. He's flicking his hair. It couldn't be more awful to watch. As a Jaguars, I'm not even a hater, but like my dad lives in Jacksonville and he loves watching the Jags lose. It's funny. He just gets this kick out of the misery of them losing. And the closer the loss, the better for him. And watching this, they look so soft and they look so cute and they like want to be this finesse offense. I just don't understand how you can have any confidence when the kingdom's coming to your house and they just came off a great win.
Oh, yeah.
Their defense is going to be playing lights out. You know, Chris Jones is coming. And I think they're going to challenge the Jags. I don't know how the Jags, I mean, the line is 46.5. KC's given 3.5. I like KC all over this game. I like Mahomes just coming in, doing his thing. I think it's an ugly game for Jacksonville. I really don't like the Jacksonville any which way in this game at all. I like the Chiefs all over.
I'm waiting for. I'm gonna look it up really quick.
And they're 3-1. They're the.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I want to see like Trevor Lawrence's best game this year.
I mean, you're gonna have to look. I think at 2024.
No, this year. Best game this year.
Right. You're going to have to look at 2024. Like, you're going to have to go back. It hasn't been great. I don't think he's had
no, but I want to see how good he's done this year. Like so he's had one game where he threw for 271 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was at Cincinnati. That was a game where they came back and won late, right?
Yes.
But yeah, these are his. I mean, yeah, he has not had very good. He's had 2 games under 200. His points are 14, 10, and 15. And then
Travis Etienne had that big breakout run last week. You know they're obviously involved with the running game, right? They're not letting him air it out. He's got these weapons that he's not even able to use. Britton Strange seems like the check down. If in fantasy you need a tight end, you're still out there.
And to their credit, they haven't had the blow up. They're not the sexiest 3-1 team. Really quick, Broly 619 traded Nakua for Barkley and Derrick Henry, non-PPR. I like that. I mean, you're selling high on Nakua.
It's a 2-for-1.
I'm not always a fan of just like you don't always got to trade. A guy blows up, but if you were at need at running back, especially a non-PPR league, you just got 2 first-round picks for another first-round pick. And you bought low on Barkley and Derrick Henry, and you sold high on Nakua. And depending
Puka's going to set the receiving record this year for catches, though. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's ridiculously hot, and if Stafford stays healthy, it's that team is pretty fun to watch, and a lot of excitement. But yeah, I think Jacksonville at home Monday night, and they just went to San Francisco and beat down on San Francisco, right? So I want to see Jacksonville win this game, but you just feel like Mahomes, they're starting to get healthy. They're starting to get in a groove. And I just feel like, I don't know. That's going to be fun to watch.
Mahomes is 5-0 against the Jags.
Yeah, and I have a feeling he's like
5-0.
I feel like
those 5 games, ready for this? In those 5 games, 1,517 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks, and 107.3 passer rating. I mean, yeah. I just don't see how Mahomes doesn't keep it rolling. It's obviously he's one of those quarterbacks that's always really big with the way history holds. I feel like, this is definitely the Chiefs turning it around. They're on the road. It's a get-right game for him. He just threw a few touchdowns last week. I could see him going again.
Mahomes is Tyson says it's going to be raining there. Mahomes is 9-3 Monday Night Football. Prime time. I mean, hey, you know what? I hope Jacksonville can show us something. And even though I traded away Brian Thomas Jr., I kind of want him to at least get going. That offense could be so much fun. And I just want to see bombs to the Heisman Trophy winner. And I want to see all this fun stuff, and we haven't seen it. But then again, they're 3-1 and they're 3-1 in a division where it's them and the Colts and that's it. Right. So,
I mean, I could see the Texans kind of give them a little bit of a problem. They play sneaky
Yeah.
defense against them. Obviously, the Texans aren't great right now. We know that CJ Stroud's down, but you're not wrong, man. The Titans are absolute trash. It's them and the Colts to win that division. I think that Trevor Lawrence, are they kind of like the Eagles right now? They just haven't had to do a whole lot. And I'm not saying that they're anything like the Eagles. I'm just saying, like you're saying, they're handing the ball to Travis Etienne. He's getting off, right? They got Bishal Tootin who's doing his thing. You know, they got enough from their defense. Like they haven't needed they needed Trevor one game and he showed up.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. And Star Spangled, you're right. BTJ has the worst catch rate in the league. And trust me, I was an owner of him last year, and I saw what number one corners do to him. And when he gets that number one corner attention, he does not – it's harder for him to get open. So I just think that Brian Thomas Jr. is now going to be a very good receiver in this league. But he got overdrafted this year. I was one of them.
He's kind of like a Marvin Harrison last year. He'll bounce back next year, I'm sure. And the year's not even over. We still have so many games left. You don't even know about the second half that he could have if Trevor really starts to get him the ball, right? If Travis gets underneath and yada, yada. Yeah. Now, look at Broly's question, talking about how worried should you be as a Derrick Henry owner. Bro, it's all about the Ravens offense, you know? It's about Lamar. It's about them getting ahead. And it's about that defense being able to share it up. They got to get that defense going. And that's the way the Ravens and Derrick Henry eat. It starts with the defense with them. They have to get a lead. It's got to be Lamar playing from ahead. And that's how Derrick Henry, like the only game that Derrick Henry is blown up this year was against the Bills. And you saw him breaking out. And it was just one of those games. We knew that the Bills defense was not great. Derrick Henry exposed it. And it was also a game that they're able to keep up, right?
Yeah. I know. And guys, I think that sums it up. Let's go Yankees. If I could manage the Yankees right now, I would obviously put our aces in places, right? I would start Jazz Chisholm and Ben Rice, which I think we're gonna do because, and I think the big thing is let's get to the Red Sox bullpen. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Let's get early out of the game early. He's a big lefty. I don't feel like dealing with that. Judge is batting 500.
You gotta work your pitch counts, man. You gotta get a lot of 3 and 2s. You gotta get this kid to work for it, right?
Yeah, I'd like to see him out of the game in the 3rd or 4th inning. I also could see Schittler having the Red Sox shit in their pants, right? That's it. I think that we're gonna continue to move on. I think the Cubs move on. And who cares about the Tigers and Guardians, right? Because
the next round starts on Saturday, so we won't be back on. We'll be breaking down all the other coverage and what starts in the next round when we come back on Tuesday. We'll obviously cover these locks. Look out for the lead pipe locks from TJ coming out soon. He's going to be giving you some easy money plays. We appreciate you. We're at 850 subscribers right now on YouTube. There's obviously a lot of other platforms. Get us out to your friends and family. We appreciate your time. And one love, y'all. Prop Stars out.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Peace.